audio check, and action.
If you do not constantly innovate, you would be left behind. 90% of the developer fraternity is doing the same stereotypical job, is just build, copy, paste, transfer.
Yeah.
What the world is not doing, do those things in the real estate division. And we sold 100% of our inventory on the first day. So we sold 1,000 crore stock during the second wave of COVID. So we delivered 14 buildings, around 16 stories each, with triple basement in less than 3 years' time. Vastu is not magic. The demand for Vastu compliant homes is going to be increasing for educated classes. In India, people don't like looking at another building because it doesn't look good.
The way you say it is that you want everybody to have it as their phone wallpapers.
So our average ticket size in Miami starts at around $2 million for a 2-bed residence. It's the only building in the country where a single standalone building hosts 1,000 apartments.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Jam. Today we're going to shoot the episode 6 and we are very excited about it because in this episode we're going to cover the luxury real estate market and also the global market. Now, the guest who's joining us is very special. He's the managing director of the group Man Infra MICL, which is a very, very well-known group, and we're very excited for this podcast. We're having Mr. Manan Shah join us. I cannot wait to dive in, so stay tuned. Hi Manan, thank you for joining us today. We're very thrilled and excited for this episode. I hope it goes very well and we give out a lot to the audiences. So let's start with when did you start your journey with MICL and tell us how it's been like so far.
So thank you for having me here. I joined the company in 2013. We were ancestrally an EPC driven company, so basically a contracting company. I'm the third generation, and but each generation somebody's added something different. So my grandfather was into industrial contracting. My father started ports, so he was the first person, and he got the company the first award for the first private port of India back in 1996. And I started the real estate division in the company. So my journey started from residential projects to commercial and so on. So my journey has been now almost 11 years. Yeah, that's how it all began.
Okay. So when you joined MICL, any major challenges that you had to face, like because it was a transition and you were trying to bring something new, like you mentioned, you got the real estate part of it. So what were the challenges from that transition from the contractorship to real estate? There must be certain challenges that you faced.
There were a lot actually, because see, when you are into a B2B company and you've transformed into a B2C, and we were in the transformation phase.
Okay.
The team that was required, the mentality of the team, the motivation levels, the craftsmanship, and also the industry at that particular point of time was also in a very bad shape because of there was a recession which was recently hit, and real estate industry per se was in a bad shape because a lot of commitments were not getting fulfilled. The deliveries were delayed by a lot of developers. So at that time, the challenge was for people to accept us as a new developer, but also trust us that we are a seasoned player because we've been doing contracting like back then almost 50 years.
Yeah.
So also prepping up the internal team, and there was a need for a lot of new departments to be added, like because we did not have any architectural department. We did not have mainly a marketing department or a sales department because our job was only to construct what the client had given us.
Yeah.
And we were never facing the customers directly ourselves. So that time, hiring people, the right set of talents. In fact, 99% of the times, I used to be personally handling almost everything. Like I was the salesperson, I was acting as a marketing person also, and I'm going and doing innovations. So that time it was challenging for me personally because too much time consumption in all of these things, and especially when you're starting a new department or a new, in fact, a venture, it was more or less like starting an absolutely brand new company from the very beginning. So that time these things used to be hitting, but things went on smoothly because I had the backup of my entire engineering team. So they had a lot of trade secrets, they had a lot of rich experience in terms of working with the other developers, and all combined together things started falling into place.
Yeah, so initially it was very difficult to set the
Yeah.
team and everything, but with time, because of the experience, it flew. So, so how has your vision for MICL evolved since you started? Were there any key strategies or decisions that significantly shaped the company's growth? Like when you stepped in, you must come with a newer vision, new things that you want to bring to the table. So, were there any strategies that you got that you can apply and then it will add to the success of the growth?
So one of the most important element which I feel part of our industry, especially in real estate, back then also, now also, and I feel in the future also, is going to be innovation.
Yeah.
If you do not constantly innovate, you would be left behind. Like if you talk about smartphones today, like nobody ever imagined a smartphone. Like phones were just phones. Like pick up the phone, dial the
Nokia
number,
phones,
put a
yeah.
message. That was the purpose. But today, the entire ecosystem
Works on the phone.
works on the mobile phone. So same way what I had been doing back then, and the strategy what I applied was what the world is not doing, do those things in the real estate division. Especially like I saw a lot of lack of amenities, a lot of lack of lifestyle oriented products missing in the industry and not being offered to the people. Even though people were paying 50,000, 75,000, 1 lakh a square foot, still I did not see that the people were not having that pride in owning that apartment. But today what we did is we have been infusing a certain kind of a lifestyle, certain kind of setup where people take pride also, they make money also, being an investor sometimes. And that has been the key strategy which helped us grow very fast. Also at the same time, what happened is people understood that there is a need of certain lifestyle which is their immediate consumption.
Yeah.
Everyone cannot be part of golf clubs. Everyone cannot be part of these chambers and all. You need certain things because it's easier. You don't want to drive the car on a Sunday afternoon, 30
Especially in
minutes.
Bombay traffic.
Especially with the traffic now, absolutely. In this kind of a heat also. So that's how we design our ecosystems. And one of the most important factor which I still follow is I see a lot of wastage happening inside the house. So a lot of developers have not been focusing on good quality planning. Like the way the windows are supposed to be, getting ample light, ventilation inside, columns to be placed strategically onto the peripheral, so people have the flexibility to knock out certain walls and make their spaces according to their family needs.
Yeah.
So we started doing those things. So the moment we started offering customizations, you'll not believe that whenever we launch a product, we offer like ample amount of varieties and we make sure that we sit with customers to cater to their needs.
Yeah.
And we have been successful in selling more than 50% stock at the time of launch in every project, in fact.
Okay.
And this has been happening for over past 7 years now. So we've understood the psyche of customers that if you try to fit in something which you like into a customer's mindset, it will not be accepted.
Yeah.
You should be giving a customer what he wants,
What
because
they want.
at the end, he's the one who's going to be living and paying also for it.
Exactly.
So why do you want to enforce something on a person?
Yeah.
Rather have him something what he loves or what his family loves.
Yeah.
So these certain strategies help me shape the brand better. And the most important factor which I would like to highlight is we've always been historically and till date debt free. So we never waited for markets money as an investor or banks to start the construction. Now the moment we started the construction, especially when the other developers were defaulting
Yeah.
and they're seeing MICL's construction already begin and not even launched, they got a sense of confidence that even if I am not paying him,
Yeah. They
he is not operating on my money. They are operating on their own money and ecosystem, so we can trust him so that we'll get the delivery on time.
Yeah, that's right. And I think when you're talking about ventilation and spaces like that, I think post-pandemic, people have become more conscious about we want a bigger space. We want a home office. We want, nice light balconies and everything. So are you all adapting those things in your developments that are coming up? Because there was a phase where in Bombay especially, there were very small spaces, small square feet areas. People were living in matchboxes. That trend came up. And a lot of guests who came, they also agreed that they fell prey to it. They were also building developments like that. But after COVID, things have completely changed. People are having second homes in Alibag and everywhere. They want spaces. So when it comes to the spaces, the home office design and everything, are you all incorporating it in your new developments?
So to answer your first part, regarding light and ventilation. It's part of our core process.
Okay.
And I would like to say that MICL is always slower when it comes to launches because I take 3-4 months extra
Okay.
in brainstorming and planning so that the Vastu, scientifically also, astrology point of view also, numerology point of view also, is all combined and put together in all of our projects. Now, everybody has a different Vastu, but we make sure that the majority things are covered. So at least the basics have been taken care of. With light and ventilation connecting to Vastu also at the same time, designing the space planning where we've ensured that minimal extra walls have been created so that maximum light comes in, and windows have also been placed in a strategic manner that it's cross ventilated, and in the daytime we follow a daylight conservation method. In all of MICL's projects you will see minimalistic use of daylight. So in the daytime you don't have to switch on any tube lights. It's lit
Right.
up very well with the windows and the way we've done the planning, including the bathrooms.
Okay.
Because 99% of the developments you'll see bathrooms completely dark,
Yes.
whether it's day or night. We ensure fresh air hits the bathroom also so that it's more hygienic,
Yeah. And the
it's more
materials
fresher
don't rust.
environment.
Yeah.
So those kind of things we follow for the light and ventilation method. We've also done certain things where special sun path analysis have been done.
Okay.
And with those sun path analysis, we curate the entire landscape areas. So we've got projects where you will see an afternoon landscaping completely different from an evening landscaping. Now, what do I mean by afternoon and evening? There are certain places where sunlight does not hit any time of the day. So that means during 12 o'clock in the afternoon also it's an evening kind of an environment. And there are certain places where from morning 7 o'clock to almost evening 7 o'clock, you will see it very well lit and sometimes sunlight like directly hitting very harshly. So what we do is spaces where sunlight is not hitting, the landscape is very, very sparse. And spaces where there is sunlight hitting directly, the landscape is very dense. So even in a Sunday afternoon, you want to enjoy a cup of coffee, you will find spaces in our projects where you can go in the afternoon, sleep on a hammock.
Oh.
So we introduce certain spaces where there are hammocks. Now hammocks have been dream for Mumbaikars because you either go to Goa or Matheran or Mahabaleshwar or some kind of place which is like an immediate go-to for Mumbaikars. So we got all of those things embedded as part of the landscape. So you enjoy that nature because at the end people would want to live a healthier lifestyle also. You've come back from a Bombay traffic, working 12 hours a day, you want to rejuvenate yourself.
Yeah.
So those kind of spaces have also been taken care of with how the sunlight is going to be playing throughout the day. Second part, we never built those matchboxes. So I'll give you a right example. A project called Aaradhya High Park at Meera Bhayandar Daisar. The world around us was making 300 square feet, 325 square feet, 375 square feet of one bed residence. 2018 is when we launched.
Okay.
And again, it was not a very good year for real estate. It was an average year because the industry has been slogging for quite a long time. Luckily for us, we've been doing good projects, so we were sustaining and growing also at a good place. Aaradhya High Park, we did 500 carpet one bed.
Oh.
So each house had a balcony, had a drying yard in front of the kitchen, separate niches in a one bed for a walk-in wardrobe,
Oh.
and 2 bathrooms
In a one bed.
in a one bed, and a full-fledged bathroom, not just a powder toilet.
Yeah.
It was a full bathroom, a shower, a WC, a basin, everything was there. Because we understood a one bed person's ecosystem. An average 1 BHK house, there are 6 household members staying
Oh.
in Mumbai.
Okay.
Now, there are seniors,
Yeah.
there are parents, and there are children.
Yeah.
So when these 6 people are in the house, seniors tend to be usually sleeping in the living room. Parents are sleeping in the bedroom, and the kids are sleeping on the floor, either in the living room or in the bedroom with the parents. Now this ecosystem means in the morning, people are going to school, for the kids are going to the school. Parents also have to get ready for office.
Yeah.
So you need 2 bathrooms. Mothers usually they start working in that segment post the office hours have been. When the husbands have gone to the office, the tiffin is done, kids' tiffin has been packed, and they tend to work in the inside the house ecosystem. Like they're usually freelancing a lot of things. So when we observe those things, also for them, the balconies are very crucial because 24 hours almost a woman is spending time inside the house working, or for the family or for herself. She needs to be motivated enough and she has to be energized throughout the day. So these balconies in a one bed also helped us a lot, and we sold 100% of our inventory on the first day.
On the first day.
In fact, we had
Wow.
550 flats, if I'm not mistaken, approximately to sell, and on the first day we had 1,100 checks. So there was a wait listing, whom to sell, and literally, I remember I used to be sitting on the inventory and salespeople used to come and ask me, and the decision making time used to be 3 minutes. I'll
Because there
block
were
an
so many
inventory for you.
Yeah.
3 minutes. If you don't come back, if somebody else is asking the same inventory, I'll give it to him. And we were 100% sold out the very first day. In fact, 6 o'clock in the morning, there were 400 people in the queue to open the sales office, and the Muhurat time was 9 o'clock. We had to open at 8 o'clock because there could have been a chaotic situation if you would have not opened at that time. But we were very happy.
Yeah.
And when we asked people that what pulled so many of y'all over here, 3 answers I got. The lifestyle that we created with the amenities, landscape and stuff. The size of the house and the space planning of the house. And third, the construction had already begun 6 months prior before we entered the market. So they saw complete confidence, and especially see when a one bed person is buying a house, almost is investing his lifetime savings.
Of course.
Now, Indian sentiments and consumer mindset does not work like Western civilization, where you will see them flipping houses almost every year. They'll rent it out. They're not mainly interested in this is mera ghar, apna ghar. Like that's not the culture there. But in India, it's like apna ghar. It's not just a house. It's like security for their future
emotional for
generation,
them, yeah.
emotion, and they feel a sense of achievement that I have arrived somewhere.
I have my own house.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when they saw the space planning inside, zero wastage and these kind of things, they loved the planning, and we showed them the show flat, we showed them the model, we showed them the walkthrough. Everything was shown them before we took the checks. And the industry standards have always been working, show them nothing, take the check first. I was very opposed to that kind of a thing. So I told my salespeople, I will show them everything.
That they'll get.
Let them get 100% confidence. Then only you take the check. Secondly, I have seen people in the industry playing this game that they'll build a 3-bed show flat. And when a 2-bed customer comes, they'll tell him, sir, imagine this 1 bedroom is not there. When a 1 BHK customer comes, imagine that there is 2 bedrooms not there. How can you have the same living room, same kitchen sizes for all the 3 houses? And it's impossible for a layman, because that poor guy who's come in for the first time with that excitement to buy, you are asking him to imagine, sorry, this is not there, this is not there. We built 1 bed, 2 bed, 3 bed, all show flats.
Yeah.
So each TG which came in, they saw exactly what they were going to get. And they were so happy with those kind of things that automatically it led to this kind of sales. Same thing happened 3 years later at another project in Ghatkopar, where we saw people queuing up again, and we saw 90% sales of the entire complex happening in less than 7 months' time. So we sold 1,000 crore stock
7.
during the second wave of COVID.
Oh, okay.
In 2020 September, we launched our project. As of today we speak, it is 100% sold out, OC received, delivered. So we delivered 14 buildings, around 16 stories each, with triple basement in less than 3 years' time, being 100% sold out.
Wow. That's great. So you've cracked the code. of understanding what a customer wants. Basically, you curate things understanding their lifestyle, and that's when how you do
What they want, what they desire, if you give them,
They'll be
automatically
satisfied.
they will treat you as their bestie.
Yeah.
Because today, if I tell you wear a red color dress, you do not like the color red, for example. Why would you buy that?
Exactly.
So, and house is something, it's not you flip on very frequently.
Yeah. It's
In
not
fact,
like you can change it completely.
people don't change their mobile phones for years.
Yeah.
This is a house. So,
Yeah.
it's a lifetime of an achievement what they would be
Yeah.
getting into. So, automatically, we always feel what customer wants, what the micro market wants. Absolutely design the product as per those needs. You will be successful.
Yeah. So I wanted to know that let's just put some light on Vastu. You spoke about Vastu. So a lot of people think that Vastu is just a trend. And slowly it will wear off. People are getting more practical and people want better looking houses no matter if it's compliant with Vastu or not. What do you think? Is it actually a trend or it's here to stay? It will stay because it's there since ages. So,
For us, in fact, requirement for Vastu is increasing.
oh,
For 2-3 reasons. They've been speaking to the referral through whom they've come, especially in our own houses, which they've been living into. And they have seen the progress also in their life. And I'll be very honest, Vastu is not magic. Vastu is scientific curation of construction connected to the directions because it works with the
energy.
axis of the earth and there are multiple energy channels and the magnetic fields are affecting your life.
Of course.
That's what Vastu is all about. So, especially like example, we don't place our head in north direction. Why? Because the gravity's magnetic pull is the strongest over there. So, you don't get good sleep. So, the moment you don't get a good sleep, your health is affected the very next day and eventually over time. Secondly, columns. It cannot be placed completely isolated in between the house. Why? Because that is a source of negative energy attraction. So a column always has to be connected to some wall.
Okay.
It should not be isolated. The moment there is negative energy retained inside your house, it prones to illness.
Okay.
So we have a philosophy called live better. That's a tagline, right? Now, live better does not necessarily mean just amenities and clubs and gardens. It means your mental health, your physical health. When you're staying inside our houses, you should feel a sense of positivity. You should feel peaceful. You should feel nice when you come back to your house. You should not feel that where am I staying? Why is it so dull? So that's the way I feel. Vastu is definitely here to stay. In fact, people who understand Vastu, eventually the demand for Vastu compliant homes is going to be increasing for educated classes.
That's there. Again, with the point of education, one of my question was like when we talk about real estate in specific, there are no courses or a degree or anything related to academics that somebody can achieve to get into the real estate. So what do you think about it? That should we have an education system set up for that where we have courses for real estate, or a person who has some other knowledge in some other industry can easily enter real estate and be successful?
See, there used to be times where a person who's made money selling off some gold has become a developer. Some person has made money in stock market, has become a developer. Some diamond merchant has made excess money, has become a landlord or a developer. In fact, there were panwalas of the house, there were garajwalas of the house who've become. I'm not trying to say that it's something wrong. People need to understand between these developers and a real developer in a very simple fashion. They are investors. Why they are investors is because they do not have the knowledge of engineering, of architecture, the art of making. That's very important and crucial today because if you don't have these three things, your product is going to be an average dead block in any piece of land. Right? Now, the moment you see a seasoned developer and you like those buildings, is because it's very well thought of. You like the balconies, you like the elevation, you like the amenities.
Design, yeah.
because the backing has been that way. I definitely feel that there's a need of courses required, because I don't see in today's scenario people talking about doing something new. Now, the moment you stop doing something new, your city in next 10 years will start looking monotone. You'll only see beiges and greys across the city in terms of colors. Nothing new is happening. And because who will they get inspiration also from?
That is true.
90% of the developer fraternity is doing the same stereotypical job, is just build, copy, paste, transfer.
Yeah.
Right? So, where will they get a hands-on experience? We need to definitely have international integrated courses, in fact. What the world is doing, what the international skyline like New York, Hong Kong, Singapore, what they are doing, and why do people have wallpapers of those cities and not India? It's purely because they look beautiful. They've been designed in a particular fashion. And when you step out on your window or on a balcony, you see a beautiful looking building.
Yeah.
In India, people don't like looking at another building
Yeah.
because it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
The moment you make a beautiful looking building, like for example, if you go to Dubai and you have a Burj Khalifa facing apartment, you're paying more money for it.
Yes, of course.
So if everybody starts doing that in India and starts curating beautiful looking structures, the city will start looking cleaner. It'll start looking more beautiful. The average real estate investor money will definitely grow, because the world capital money will start coming here. People today are not looking at Mumbai internationally as an investment opportunity, because they are having abundant opportunity in much more beautiful looking structures abroad. So I feel courses, integrating them with lot of renowned cities and countries across the world should be curated together. So you get a very diversified exposure from cold country, from a hot country, from Mediterranean country. And that's what we can do over here.
So now you spoke about wallpapers and we did a little stalking. So we found your interview where you mentioned about Aaradhya Aavan, and the way you say it is that you want everybody to have it as their phone wallpapers. So can you put some light on what that project is, what your intentions are with that project, and what's going to be so great and unique about it?
So Aaradhya Aavan started with a dream project in a way. So it was our entry into South Mumbai first. We've been operating into central suburb, eastern suburb and western suburb. Now, I always try to make an entry which is powerful enough and which has been spoken about without me having to market it.
Okay.
So Aavan, before it got curated as Aavan, Aaradhya Aavan is the full name, almost 27 options were scrapped completely. Built, rendered.
Built and scrapped.
Yeah, built as in not constructed, but the design was completed, renderings were done, and we scrapped it because I felt like, again, I am becoming part of the masses. What am I doing different as MICL, which I've been doing in a lot of other places, which will make this building being spoken about not now, even 25 years down the line. Number two, you don't build 300 plus meters tall building every now and then. So, it had to be an icon, because in fact, before curating the final design, I drove around the entire Mumbai city just to see from where this building would be visible.
Okay.
So I drove from Vadala freeway to Palladium Mall, Lower Parel, to Worli Sea Face, to Sealing, to Bandra Carter Road, that where all is the visibility of Tardev from. Because I see a couple of buildings being visible from a lot of these locations. And our building is definitely taller, much, much taller. So it had to be justified that if a person sitting on a Carter Road, for example, or a bandstand is able to see our building, or somebody who's in Taj Land's End who can see the entire South Mumbai, he should be able to speak that, oh wow, that's something fantastic, I want to visit, like a tourist.
Yeah.
In Mumbai, none of the buildings are visited by tourist spots. Like tourism is not around real estate of Mumbai, because again, eventually you go to a place which looks good or it has a heritage value, right? So we started conceptualizing. Secondly, I wanted to leave a mark onto the Mumbai's map, that without wanting to tell that this is an MICL building, people should know it. So we started with the concept where we would be probably the first developer in the world to achieve it also. So the building is designed in the shape of the company's logo.
Okay.
So if you see the building from any side, you will see the company's arches. That's what makes it absolutely unique.
Yes.
Secondly, why I am stating that we are here to change the wallpapers on your phone is because it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be iconic, and we are absolutely sure that this building will change the landscape of 1 kilometer proximity around. That when people are standing on their balconies and windows, and when they'll be able to see Aaradhya Aavan, the pricing of their house will increase. Because when you go to Dubai and you see Burj Khalifa, the hotel prices, rooms are different for Burj Khalifa facing and city facing.
Yes.
Because they made it iconic, they made it beautiful.
You want to look at it. That's what.
So same way, Avan was designed in that particular fashion, and with that came a lot of technology, a lot of architectural value additions, like the lighting. If you see,
Yeah.
we are going to be having a lighting show for the first time ever in the country. Every evening, 3 slots, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. There'll be show happening on the entire tower, where the residents will not get disturbed, but the city is seeing an amazing skyline. So people would literally get out and wait for that spot. Like when you go to a Dubai fountain or a Bellagio fountain in Vegas, you literally wait there for half an hour or 20 minutes or whatever time is left that I want to see it and go.
Yes.
Same way, this building is going to be the spot where people will come on their windows and balconies all around the city just to see that lighting show.
Yeah.
And we've curated a lot of things in detail, like more than 100 crore is going to be spent on the facade of that building, which will last lifelong. And at the same time, what we're trying to achieve is something, a mark on the global skyline. So we did a survey, and the shocking part is in the entire Asia, somehow Google shows UAE also as Asia,
Okay.
which is like Middle East. So they consider Burj Khalifa, and we also consider Burj Khalifa as part of the skyline. Aaradhya Aavan is going to be ranked 4th in the Asian continent. In fact, there is no pure residential tower in the entire continent which is as tall as Aaradhya Aavan. So probably as pure resi, we would maybe be number 1 in the entire continent. So that is what is going to set us apart. And I somehow wanted to give something back to my country. That today nobody is wanting to take Indian skyline map onto the global map. Today with this kind of buildings what we are curating, this will get us onto the global recognition that top 10 tallest towers of Asia, Aaradhya Aavan should be there. Indian skyline has never been part of the tallest or
never.
been spoken about. So more than being the tallest, honestly, we are making it more iconic. We are making it something which you would desire for. And it's like you got an opportunity to buy an apartment 20 years back in Burj Khalifa. Today, your investment will be multiplied. That's what the intention is, that people who are buying now will definitely see a phenomenal growth in their investment, because nothing like this is ever going to come back again.
Yeah. And there's nothing that exists like that already. And
Correct.
Nothing that's coming soon again. So when you spoke about putting it through global market and everything, you all are entering the global market now. You all have a development coming up in Miami. So we just wanted to talk about it a little.
So Miami, we ventured in, I think, around 2 years back now.
Okay.
And but we went to US to check out a lot of states and cities, while my brother, I have a younger brother, he's undergraduated and post-graduated over there.
Okay.
And he's a resident of US now. So for him mainly, we wanted to set up something any which ways. So we went to Texas, we went to New York, California. Florida, Miami was something which was absolutely the city which has done phenomenally well compared to the other cities. And the richer classes and masses wants to have a second home or eventually move over there because of state tax also not being over there. So the HNIs and ultra HNIs and billionaires are all taking Florida as their state, and Miami is the hot favorite like Mumbai of Maharashtra. So we chose Miami. So we've started with around 4 projects up till now. One is already completed. We did a villa project,
Okay.
so 2 villas were built on that. We've just procured 3 more lands. So one of them is going to be in partnership with Ritz-Carlton. So we are coming up with the first Ritz-Carlton residences branded
branded.
at Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
And that's going to be developed by us. We've got a local partner also over there. So there we are doing a completely different kind of a target segment compared to India, where we are focusing only on the ultra HNIs. So our average ticket size in Miami starts at around $2 million for a 2-bed residence.
That's great. So, what are the challenges that you face in the global market, like outside? What are the differences, major differences that you witness when it comes to the Indian real estate market and the market there?
It's an absolutely different world. The mindset of the consumers is absolutely different. So, to give you a very small example, when we build a house in Mumbai, the closest bedroom to the living room always has to be guest. But in the US, the closest bedroom to the living room has to be master.
Oh,
Here, you are still driven by household help.
yes,
So, you want to be in an aloof area.
yes.
Over there, you're doing everything on your own. So, you want to be connected to the living, to the kitchen, to the dining, immediate access.
Yes.
In fact, do you know they have laundry rooms connected to their master bedrooms? Whereas we have it connected to the kitchen areas.
Yeah, kitchen.
Because again, here you're driven by the help, and there you're doing your household chores on your own. So that was one smallest example
Convenience
where
they need.
the complete drastic change of mindset we experienced. Secondly, most important thing was sustaining over there being a newcomer. So we cannot afford to fail. So we always de-risk ourselves. So what we've done is we basically partnered with local developers over there who's the prominent face.
Yeah.
And we have taken an investor position currently. So what happens is they know the market, they know how to get the approvals done, what the city demands, and we come in with our investment and simultaneously even learn that. So that's how we've started our journey at Miami.
So, as an investor purpose. So, let's say if someone, for our audiences, someone who's looking to enter the real estate market right now, what are the lessons that you learned from your MICL journey that you think will be helpful for them, or some non-negotiables that they need to understand before entering the market?
So especially when you're trying to enter a real estate market, the most important thing is, when will a person give you money? When there is a trust, when there's a confidence, and there's some sort of a goodwill developed.
Yes.
Now, the moment there is no trust with you, customers will use this to negotiate. You are new. Why should I trust you? Why should I give you advance payment, or etc. etc. right? So first thing and foremost thing is, do you have the balance sheet to withstand the negative curves of the industry? Number one. Number two, how are you driving your projects? Is it self-funded, or you're majorly debt dependent or market money dependent? All of these factors are very much important to be crucial to be known to you, because debt and market money is purely driven by the sentiments.
Yes.
You might have an excellent project, but people are not trusting you. The moment they're not trusting you, they're not putting money on you. The moment they're not putting money on you, you will not be able to develop because you do not have your own money. That is where majority of the developers have failed today in the industry, because they tend to put in 10-20%. The rest of the money flows in from XYZ sources. And when these sources fail, they fail. So it's very important to do the calculation very well. And how I work is basically, we've always calculated, if the market price is, say, for example, 10,000 rupees on a square foot, I will always consider a 20% depreciated price and then do my profitability analysis, so that tomorrow if there's a market correction happening, I am still making enough money, which on a conservative basis model had told me. And if the market goes up, I enjoy the bonus.
Yeah. So those are the things that people should know about. And So when we talk about like you're into luxury real estate, so the luxury real estate home sales in India surged up by like 75% now. Like everybody wants to feel luxury. People, I think their spending capacity is getting higher when it comes to choosing a space for home. So what are the three trends that you've observed in this luxury industry recently? What is upscaling, what is happening for people to keep in mind where they're investing? For example, somebody is taking a property for investment purposes. What do what are the things they should keep in mind? What are the trends they should look out for?
First, whether it's a investment or it's an actual usage. If it's an investment, making sure who you're investing with, checking the track records. Because again, real estate industry has cyclic curves which goes ups and downs. There are rare developers where the cycle has always been good for them, and those are the kind of developers you should ideally be dealing with. Now I'll be giving you a shocking statement. These developers will never come cheap.
Yeah.
The reason they don't come cheap is because they've performed, and they don't need to be cheap.
Yeah. Because they'll find their audience.
Exactly. And you should be spending, even if you have to spend probably 10% extra, but there's a guaranteed possession. You will get the inventory. If you don't get the inventory and somebody's selling you at 50% lesser price, what's the point of it?
Yeah.
So making sure that the developers' track records have been checked. And luxury market is something which is happening usually after some phenomenal inflation is gone. So right now, yes, the market demand for luxury is there, but you decide your luxury cap. Are you looking at for self-consumption, or are you looking at to just flip it in the market after making some percentage on it? But yes, luxury always does not sustain also. You see luxury curves boiling down very easily because everybody tends to jump onto luxury products.
Yeah.
But again, that's where innovation will come in. Everybody is selling products in Bandra, for example. Everybody is asking 1 lakh rupees on a square foot. But why should a person put 1 lakh with you?
Yeah.
That is when your product and your credibility will matter a lot.
Yeah. So how are client expectations, evolving in the luxury segment, and what is MICL doing to respond to these changes?
Client is definitely becoming more and more choosy by the day. And in fact, we are happy that they are asking questions because it becomes easier for developers like us, who's absolutely transparent and honest, because we show them anything and
So you
everything
have
before he
nothing to
makes a
fear
decision.
about, yeah.
So automatically, I am happy that he asked me a lot of questions regarding the quality, timeline, how will I achieve this, why this and why not that. So people should definitely be doing those things. We are happy. How we are resonating to that is we are sharing whatever information is ready. And in fact, we don't launch a single project where every single detailing is ready on day one. So if you ask me any of my projects, the exact wood which will go onto a photo frame is also curated before I enter the market. The renders are ready, the walkthroughs are ready, the physical models are ready. So automatically when a customer comes in, he sees all of these ecosystems in a experience center. He's absolutely confident, and we give everything to them in writing. So he is very much assured of what I promised him, and what he is getting is absolutely aligned to that.
Keen eye to detail. Everybody wants everything done up so that they don't have to do it later.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you all have done some landmark projects, and I think building landmark projects come with their own set of challenges. So what has been the most challenging project for MICL, and how did your team overcome it?
So in terms of challenges, we've always explored to a newer location. Like we started from Ghatkopar, then we went to Sion, then Chembur, Vikhroli, Mulund, Dahisar. Today we are operating at Juhu, Villeparle, BKC, Pali Hill. Now South Bombay, we are going to coming up at Marine Lines, Tardev. The first thing always happens is challenges. Every project has been a different challenge for us because some are standalones, some are super high rise like Aaradhya Aavan, some are super long like Aaradhya Parkwood in Mirabai, which we are doing. It's the only building in the country where a single standalone building hosts 1,000 apartments. So the design of that building is in an S shape. So you get 100% privacy with east and west facing apartments, uninterrupted views. So every project comes up with a different challenge because of its location and the consumer segment which you want to target. And we've been able to overcome by, like I said, we spent couple of months before brainstorming and launching, so that the product is absolutely to the taste of the consumers, which is of the micro market, especially because, see, let's be honest, every micro market has its individual consumption capacity. So a Bandra guy is ideally 90% crowd does not wish to move to Juhu.
Yeah.
Only a 10% flips major locations. Ideally, Bandra guy I've seen maybe not even wanting to move down from Pali Hill to Mount Mary or Bandstand to Carter Road, right? So they're operating in their own ecosystem and their smaller geographical environment. So understanding those consumers, we take a lot of time. Then we design the product. And the moment we have designed that, we've taken opinions of a lot of brokers also and customers also who have been living in that market. So automatically we get the right set of opinions, and that's how we've been dealing.
Okay. Which is your favorite landmark that you all have created by now?
Honestly, every building is closer to my heart, but every year I tend to challenge our company and myself with doing something new. So at the moment, we're developing Aaradhya Aavan. That would be one of our landmarks because of being super high rise, but we're coming up with a lot more iconic and landmark projects in every location. Like we just on the verge to complete a product at Juhu, where we've achieved a 9,500 carpet floor plate.
Oh,
So one house can be 9,500 carpet, which is a rare phenomena in Juhu. You
Very
don't
rare.
get ideally a single floor plate that big, with all the amenities of a gated community, but in a standalone building.
yeah, that's something new. What do you like more, commercial projects or residential launches?
We've been more into resi, so residential projects. Commercial we've been developing, but commercial, I'll tell you, the way we have developed commercial projects is it's been part of our residential ecosystem. So we developed something called as walk to work,
Oh,
walk to play, and walk back home. So we have got shopping line, office buildings, residential towers, and the landscape club in the center. So everything is over there. You just have to walk down your landscape jogging track and go to office. So no removing cars and all. So those places we've been very successful in doing these commercial projects, and out of it 30% gets absorbed within the complex itself.
you'll also say that your mission is to be lifestyle creators, right? It says on your website. So what do you mean by when you say you'll want to be the lifestyle creators of the industry?
See, when you are asking a consumer whether he's spending 20,000 rupees with you or 1,20,000 with you, each person has its own self-respect and a lifestyle which he's thought of in his mind, and they would want to live it that way. So we try to fulfill those needs. Now, for example, Ghatkopar as a location is known for its community. So they like mingling a lot after dinner. So they step down onto the podium. They want to walk on the landscape, feel the nice fresh air. They want to celebrate their birthdays and all of these things. So we ensure that we gave a large banquet at all of the projects at Ghatkopar, because they enjoy celebrating occasions and they're more in a joint family basis. Now, projects where we're doing like Juhu, there they are more, I would say, active in terms of their like step count. They're active in terms of their health, so they want to be doing more sports activities. So there we developed a much larger gym, and we even developed an aqua gym. So you run on a treadmill which is underwater.
Yeah.
So those kind of different things
New
we
features you're adding.
gave over there. So each person, each location demands a certain lifestyle, and we've been known for giving things which the location is not been offering. Like Meera Bhayandar, where it's in economical housing location, where apartments started around 50 lakh rupees. Even there, we were the first guys to do a sports bar. Because when you're staying in a one-bed residence, you want to watch a FIFA World Cup at night, you're disturbing the entire family. So what we did is we developed sports bar over there. It's a soundproof space. Come over there, watch the match, shout, enjoy with your friends. So these are the kind of things which we are offering to people which they've never got before. And that is what is making us the lifestyle creator.
So let's talk about AI and innovation and technology. It's changing the world. We're absolutely kind of so dependent on technology right now. What changes do you think that technology is going to bring in the real estate department? Like, of course, we have digital locks, we have smart, ACs, lights, and everything. Apart from that, how far can technology go when it comes to real estate? And do you think it's here to last? Of course, because technology is a game changing there. So, how do you think it's impacting real estate? And what changes do you think can technology bring into real estate?
See, AI is something, if used properly, it helps a customer imagine within fraction of seconds. Like today, sometimes even we use AI technology. Now we saw when I type, like a contemporary interior design bedroom. So when I upload my floor plan, within 30 seconds, the entire render is up.
Yeah.
Now that helps us crack a lot of deals with customers. So AI is definitely helping us crack better sales, but at the same time, I feel AI will take over as an innovator instead of a human thinking too much. So if humans are using AI properly, that will give an accelerated growth in their thought process, make things much more faster, and within a push of a button, you'll have tons of options. So I think I'm not seeing AI as a negative aspect. AI will help the industry shape up and craft better things at a much faster pace than it is currently at. And at the end, a human mind is definitely has some restrictions of a thinking capacity. AI doesn't.
Yeah.
So I think we should be utilizing it well enough to, and in fact, why can't be AI used in construction also? Like I've seen now drones being used
Yes.
to monitor the construction quality for example, a rail over bridge or a bridge which is built over a sea or a river. Now you want to repair those bridges, you cannot have a human being floating in middle of the air going all the way
Of
and mid-air.
Yeah.
The drone goes, it maps the exact spot, and in fact it detects what humans cannot.
Yeah.
So I think the use of AI should definitely be there. It can save lives, it can make the lives much more faster. Automation is something which is like 1% of the AI. It will just make your life more relaxed. Like you're sitting over here, push of a button, the lights will go on,
Yeah.
fan and ACs will go on, the windows will open. That's something which is part of the daily lifestyle. But I think AI and technology should be utilized for a better architecture, for a better productivity, and making it much more faster.
Yeah. People are using I think social media, digital marketing, everything is also impacting sales a lot. Like we see now on social media, there are listings. There are big brokers in Bombay showing the houses, and they actually make sales through social media. How do you all go about your marketing? Do you all use these platforms? Do you all call these very known, renowned brokers to do the visibility? Basically, social media is giving your projects visibility. So do you all use that side
So
of the
we use
marketing?
all of these. Basically, brokers also plays an integral role because a lot of time the customer wants to see 10 options. He does not have time, so he usually sends the broker, and broker sees it, explain it to him, and it is convenience. He can be seated in his house without wanting to come to our office. So brokers usually tend to place that decision making role. And at the same time, social media helps in awareness, where everybody's using a smartphone, everybody's on Instagram and Facebook today and YouTube of the world. So those platform does help us spread to better and larger audiences, I would say.
Gives you visibility.
Yeah, but we've been always less marketing driven company because we've been able to crack a lot of sales at pre-launch because we spend more time
you
on the
don't
product.
need that kind of marketing.
So we have been using it, but not generously, I would say.
So what, according to you, is the toughest market to crack in Mumbai? When it comes to just Mumbai, let's say South Bombay, Bandra, which do you think is the toughest market to crack for a real estate development perspective?
See, Western market is always having more demand. The toughest to sell, I would say, is the Eastern market because Thane and Mulund have been oversaturated now with the kind of developments that's coming in. So, frankly, there's too much oversupply. So what's happening is consumers are getting way too much inventory options and choices from reputed developers, whether I should buy here and almost in the similar ticket bracket. So what's happening is eventually you would lose a customer, you would be spending a lot more to acquire a customer. Like the per lead cost is what we say is frankly almost more than 35 to 40,000 for a site walk-in to come, not even a booking. So
Just the walk-in.
yeah, because of the oversupply. South Mumbai reputed developments are very few. So South Mumbai, a consumer understands exactly what he wants. So they are definitely a lot more choosier compared to the other locations. But yes, South Mumbai, because the size of the apartment and the overall price is a lot more, the decision making time is slightly slower. The easiest for us has been Western. The ticket size is also medium to large, and the demand has always been higher in the Western area. So it becomes an easier for us to sell.
So for our audience, for an investment perspective, where do you think they should invest so that their ROI gets very high, let's say in the coming years, because real estate uptrends or what? Do you have any specific area in Mumbai that you think has the potential to grow exponentially, or any area that might come up after 2 years that is going to have a massive growth because of the developments and all?
See, frankly, I am seeing the pricing unifying for larger areas. Like I'll tell you, Thane and Mulund pricing has almost become equal.
Oh.
So the growth for Thane already has happened. To ask and tell you honestly, I don't see the pricing going phenomenally high anymore.
Okay.
For a simple reason, market has too much inventory already. Especially with the developments which is coming up in next 1 year's time, I'll see a lot more inventory on the overall gradual city. So there is no specific location which is untapped. Because wherever the locations were untapped like Thane and Navi Mumbai, it's been now oversupplied with.
Yes.
Mulund oversupplied with. Western, I feel people will make money on the ocean developments. So places where there are properties on the ocean, absolutely. Worli Sea Face, Juhu Tara Road, Carter Road, Bandstand. These are the places where ocean will never go and developments are rarely available. So these are the places if they get an inventory which they want to shift, but definitely it comes in very expensive.
Yeah, of course.
So for a normal consumer who's looking to invest a smaller amount, I feel across the city right now, developers have been generous to give a lot of schemes and payment schedules and all. And I see an overall growth. It would purely depend on what location you feel is your hot favorite, whether it's eastern, central, western, or south. And depending on that, people can invest.
Yeah, that is true. So for our listeners who, let's say, are the first home buyers, like they're buying the home for the first time, what things, especially in a city like Mumbai, they should keep in mind before buying that house, as it's a very big investment, it's their life savings. What are a few things that they should always keep in mind before going ahead and buying that property as a first home buyer?
Most important thing and probably the most ultimate thing, track record of the developer. If the track record of the developer is good, he's not been defaulting, it's very important. Second, does the house suit your needs or you're going by the marketing gimmicks done around? Don't go on fancy hoardings, fancy ads. I'm being in the industry, but I'm telling it myself. My perception towards marketing is very different. I don't do these things because eventually, if your product is good, you don't need to speak out loud.
Of course.
Consumers will come on their own. So, track record definitely. Financial stability. Has the developer defaulted loans? What is the debt situation?
History of the developer.
Is he debt free or does he have enough liquidity to complete the development of the project? Third, what is the stage of development? Every stage has different risks, but if the track record is good and the money is there, you can definitely invest at an excavation or an under construction level so that you can get the best pricing also. So make sure that the developer is thoroughly checked, and visit the location and see it with your own eyes. Do not go on random front page newspaper ads or digital social media influencers influencing you. This is an amazing property, amazing location. Please go visit, do your due diligence, do a thorough check that whether do I genuinely need to go to this location, because a lot of times they push you outside the city, some random place. There's no connectivity, there's no local convenience for a grocery or dairy or medical shop. Then why would you want to go so far? Rather, you wait for some time, spend a little more, and be within the city.
That is true. Who is your favorite real estate developer apart from you guys?
I've always been taking inspirations from two, three, not one specifically. So I've liked the way Oberoi's have done. Cleaner construction, neat buildings, and delivery record is good. People have made good money also. I've liked the locations of the Raheja properties, and I've liked the scale of Hiranandani.
Yeah, Hiranandani is always like there. Now they're developing in Thane as well and everything, so I think this.
So the way they've taken over almost like a small location and developed it into a larger community, that is what is commendable.
So now sustainability is very in. Everybody wants to incorporate sustainability in their projects, be it hospitality, residential buildings, commercial buildings, and everything. What do you guys as a company do to serve to that purpose? Like, let's say sustainability, because it's here to stay. We're seeing electric cars are coming, this and that happening. So, what MICL does to incorporate sustainability in their projects, or what are you guys planning on doing to get it on the board?
The quality of steel. So Indian codes defines certain quality of steel. We always make sure that there are certain amount of external lab tests done. Once the vendor is approved, the steel is approved. When it comes to site, every steel is checked thoroughly again with acid tests. Now, whatever is rejected never goes in our construction. In fact, the vendor has been given warnings that if again same thing happens, we blacklist the vendor permanently. So making sure that the good quality materials have been used. The moment it's a good quality material, cement and steel, the facade sustains. Third, using materials which sustain longer. Like I'll tell you, we started doing spaces where we use artificial turfs also. But the planters are real. Now, the moment we started doing artificial turfs, people have genuinely blessed us because the consumption of water reduced by 80% of landscaping.
That's a lot.
Because the majority part has always been green grass, right? Trees and plants require very less water because they usually suck it out from the soil. But the grass needs heavy maintenance. Lot of times people have seen leakages happening because of basements below the grass.
Okay. So in Bombay especially, location plays the most important role. So what is your favorite location in Mumbai to build and why?
So I honestly love building something where the visibility is the most, because your building gets appreciated, your brand escalates to a better level. So I would love to definitely develop more buildings on the ocean front line. We're doing one at Marine Lines, but we would like to definitely add a few more. And pockets like Juhu, pockets like Bandra, pockets like Marine Drive. I would definitely love to do these.
So in the West, like there's also a concept with branded residences, right? Some people are trying to bring it to India, Bombay, and Delhi. Do you think India as a market is ready to adapt to branded residences? Do they have that spending cap yet? Or do you see, like, let's say within 5 to 6 years, yes, India is going to be ready, or is it already happening?
So there are two aspects. One, India definitely has spending capacity. I would not say that India does not have spending capacity, but I would like to say that more than spending, it's the mindset over here that they always feel if it's branded, it's overpriced. So I don't see branded residences working till next 8 to 10 years for a reason. branded residences are loved by younger generations. The decision making power over here is still above 45 years
Yes.
to 65 years bracket. A youngster who would probably be a mid-age between 25 to 40, I don't see more than 10% audience who has reached that financial strength on its own to buy a house. Now, branded residences definitely cannot be operating in the economical sector because that's why they are branded more, and branded has always been focusing on luxury side.
Yes.
So till the time this generations become financially capable, I see that slack period being there for some point of time. But I would just like to educate the customers who are listening that branded need not be expensive. Branded comes with a lot of different mindset, that there are certain ecological factors being followed, certain protocols of quality being followed, certain protocols of interior fit and finish being followed. So if that is suiting your budgets and you like the house, you should definitely opt for it.
Yeah. So let's say 8 years down the lane. We'll
Looks like
start
as of
seeing-
now for sure, but I'm seeing India's spending power also increasing.
Yes.
So the younger generation is becoming richer more faster than the earlier generation. So let's hope that 8 years comes down to like 5 years.
Yeah. So now I just have a very fun rapid fire round for you where I'll ask you questions and you'll answer them very quickly. So, what's the most underrated neighborhood in Mumbai for luxury living?
Ghatkopar.
Ghatkopar. If you could give one piece of advice to young professionals looking to buy their first luxury home, what would it be?
Luxury is always an upgrade. First, fulfill your necessity and then opt for luxury.
Yeah, that's some great advice. In just 3 words, describe the future of luxury real estate in Mumbai.
3 words. Underrated, less supply, and fewer developers.
A book you would suggest budding entrepreneurs to read.
I'm not honestly a book guy. I take my inspirations usually from the web content, but honestly, I don't have a book to suggest.
That's okay. So, if you weren't in the real estate industry, what alternative profession do you see yourself working in?
So I'm more of a creative guy, so I would definitely be having my own marketing agency.
Oh.
So I love creating the entire content in my company is usually done by me. The naming is done in my company by me. So I would see myself being the marketing guy.
Okay. Investing in stocks or investing in real estate?
I would prefer investing in real estate because eventually you would have an asset which can always be tangible for sale.
Okay. What would you prefer, a mountain view or a sea view?
Mountain view.
Okay. And which is your favorite destination to go and just relax?
Maldives.
Maldives. One last question is that what was the best advice you were ever given by anybody? Or where you read something or a quote that you follow and you are going ahead with it always?
The best advice which I was given is joining early. But definitely after completing your education requirements, whatever is there. So when you join in early, you tend to be a lot more flexible, a lot more grounded, and you are a fresher. So you are eager to learn everything.
You adapt fast as well.
So you would be learning skills much more faster. You would be having a lot more connectivity with your employees if you are an owner of the business and starting something, or and in fact you would reach a saturation point much earlier compared to joining later. So whatever is that you love doing, whatever is your family business, I would always say that our fathers have created something as a platform. Cherish it and grow it to another league by adding something new to it, so that you have your own value also and people don't see you just as the boss's son.
Yeah, that's great. It was a great show talking to you. I'm sure like slowly after maybe a year or so, we'll all have the M shape in our wallpapers. And it was great talking to you. I hope our audience also got to learn a lot from this. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sticking along till here. I'm sure you might have learned so many things from this episode because we sure did. We are very excited to keep getting these kind of contents for you. So for that, please hit the subscribe button, like, share, and also hit the bell icon so never miss an update.